Hello and welcome to Rao's IAS. This is the daily prelims practice initiative wherein we discuss important MCQs from the Hindu and Indian Express. The topics for today's discussion are mentioned over your screen. So let's begin our session. So the first practice question for today is based on a recent judgment by the Supreme Court of India which enhanced the powers of the Delhi government. So in the UPSC examination, we have frequently found questions relating to the powers and functions of the executive. In the year 2013, we found this particular question. Now let us solve our first practice question, which states that which among the following is or are outside the legislative and executive domains of the Delhi government? The options are number 1 land, number 2 police, number 3 public order, and number 4 administrative services. Now to solve this question, you must know Article 239 AA of Indian Constitution. Now this article was inserted in the Indian Constitution by the 61st Constitutional Amendment Act in the year 1991. This article provides special status to the Union Territory of Delhi, and following which it was redesignated as National Capital Territory of Delhi. Now some important provisions of this article were that Lieutenant Governor of Delhi will be the administrator of Delhi. Now this article empowered the Delhi government with legislative and executive powers. That is, the Legislative Assembly of Delhi could make laws on all the matters of state list and concurrent list, but except 3 subjects. These were police, public order, and land. And the powers related to these subjects were given to the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. So let's see the question. The subject land, police, and public order are outside the legislative and executive domains of the Delhi government. And now let us see the fourth option. So in Delhi, there has been a tussle between the central government and the Delhi government over the control of bureaucrats in the National Capital Territory. So recently, a 5-judge bench of Supreme Court headed by the Chief Justice of India had said that the power to control bureaucrats in the National Capital Territory is with the Delhi government. That is, the Delhi government has the legislative and executive powers over administrative services in the national capital. So the correct answer to this practice question is option B, 1, 2 and 3 only. And the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ is option C. The next practice question is based on this particular article which appeared on the page number 10 of The Hindu. So as per this article, the Supreme Court of India has recently given a judgment regarding the political crisis case in Maharashtra. So the recent ruling of the Supreme Court strengthens the position of the Speaker in deciding the disqualification under the anti-defection law. So the anti-defection law 1985 has the provisions regarding disqualification of a member of a house. So our next practice question is based on the similar theme. In the year 2022, we found a question regarding the anti-defection law in India. So let us solve our practice question which states that which of the following disqualifications of members of parliament comes under 10th schedule of Indian Constitution? Statement 1. If a member voluntarily gives up membership of his or her political party. So this is a correct statement which comes under disqualification. Statement 2. If a member abstains from voting in contrary to the directions issued by his or her political party without obtaining prior permission. So this is also a correct statement. If an independent member joins any political party after getting elected to the House. So this is also a correct statement. So for the members of political parties, the member can be disqualified if he voluntarily gives up his membership of such a political party or if he votes contrary to any direction issued by his political party without obtaining prior permission, or he abstains from voting. Any independent member of a house will be disqualified if he joins any political party after such an election, and any nominated member can become disqualified if he joins a political party after the expiry of 6 months from the date on which he takes his seat in the House. So the correct answer to the practice question is option D, and the correct answer to this UPSC PYQ is option B. So our next practice question is based on this particular article which appeared on the page number 12 of The Hindu. So in wake of the ongoing violence in Manipur, there is a demand that precedent rule should be imposed in the state. Our next practice question is on Article 356 or Precedence Rule. So Article 356 is one of the 3 emergencies which are outlined in the Constitution, And in the year 2018, we found a question on Article 356. Now, let us solve our practice question, which states that consider the following statements in reference to the application of Article 356. Statement 1. The state executive and legislatures continue to function and exercise the powers assigned to them under the Constitution. Now, this is an incorrect statement. If we talk about Article 356, it constitutes state emergency or President's rule. So, this emergency is on the grounds of failure of constitutional machinery in any state. Now, this first statement is incorrect because in the case of a state emergency, the state executive is dismissed and the state legislature is either suspended or dissolved. So, it means that executive and legislative powers of that state are assumed by the central government. The parliament makes laws for the state and the president administers the state through the governor. Statement 2. The emergency can be continued indefinitely in the state with the approval of parliament every 6 months. Now, this is also an incorrect statement. So, the maximum period for state emergency is 3 years, after which it must come to an end and the normal constitutional machinery must be restored in the state. So, the correct answer to this question is option D, neither 1 nor 2, and the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ is option B. So, the next practice question is based on this particular article which appeared on The Hindu on page 15. So, as per this article, World Health Organization has declared that monkeypox is no longer a global health emergency. So, in the UPSC examination, time and again we have found questions regarding various diseases. In the year 2017, we found this particular question which was on Zika virus. Now, let us solve our practice question which states that consider the following statements with reference to the monkeypox. Statement 1. Monkeypox is an airborne viral infection. Now, this is an incorrect statement. This is because monkeypox is a viral infection which is caused by the monkeypox virus, but this is not an airborne infection. Airborne diseases are those which are transported by air, for example, COVID-19. But this is not the case with monkeypox. Statement 2. It is a zoonotic disease with no cases of human-to-human transmission. Now, this is also an incorrect statement. Monkeypox is a zoonotic disease. That is, it can be transmitted from infected animals to humans. And the common mode of transmission of monkeypox disease is the direct contact with infected animals or with humans. So, the disease can be spread from humans to humans. Monkeypox is associated with rashes in the skin or skin lesions and swollen lymph nodes. And currently, there is no specific treatment for monkeypox and it is being treated by the similar lines of drugs as in smallpox. So, the correct answer to this practice question is option D, that is neither 1 nor 2. And the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ is option C. So the next question for today is based on this pictographic news which appeared on the page number 9 of The Hindu. In this picture, we can see a Cham Lama performance. So Cham Lama is a traditional dance which is performed by Tibetan monasteries during Buddhist festivals, and this is associated with Vajrayana form of Buddhism. Now based on it, we have formed a practice question which is about the dance forms in India. Now this theme is important under various dances of India and their features. In the year 2014, we found a question on Sataria dance. Now let us solve our practice question. So on the left hand side, you can see various dance forms in India and you have to match them with the various states they are related to. Statement 1. Sarai Khela Chau is a dance associated with Jharkhand. So this is a correct statement. So in the year 2010, UNESCO included Chau dance in the representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So apart from Jharkhand, other styles of Chau are also performed in West Bengal and Odisha. Statement 2. Butta Bomalu is a dance form associated with Karnataka. Now this is an incorrect statement as this is a popular dance form of Andhra Pradesh. Third statement, Singhi Cham is a dance form associated with Sikkim. Now this is a correct statement. Singhi Cham is a popular mask dance of Sikkim. Statement 4. Bhuta Aradhane is associated with Andhra Pradesh. Now this is an incorrect statement. Bhuta Aradhane or Bhuta Kola is a popular dance form associated with Karnataka. And this dance form was in news this year in the movie Kantara. So the correct answer to our practice question is option C, that is 1 and 3 only. And the correct answer to our UPSC practice question is option B. Now the final question for today is based on this particular news article which appeared on Indian Express. The National Human Rights Commission has taken a suo motu cognizance and issued a notice to the sport bodies for the non-compliance of provisions under the Prevention of Sexual Harassment for Women. Now for our UPSC examination, this theme is important under various constitutional, non-constitutional, statutory and other important bodies. As in the year 2017, we found the question on Election Commission. So Election Commission of India is a constitutional body and National Human Rights Commission is a statutory body. So let's solve our practice question, which states that with reference to the National Human Rights Commission, consider the following statements. Statement 1. All members of National Human Rights Commission, including the chairman, are retired judges of the Supreme Court. Now this is an incorrect statement. Now National Human Rights Commission is a statutory body which was enacted by the Parliament under the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. Now this body is responsible for the protection and promotion of rights related to life, liberty, equality and dignity of the individual, guaranteed by the Constitution of India. So this is a multi-member body comprising of a chairman and some other members. Now the chairman of NHRC can be a retired Chief Justice of India or a judge of a Supreme Court. But there is no such condition that all members of NHRC are retired judges of Supreme Court, as the members constitute of serving or retired judges of Supreme Court, serving or retired Chief Justice of a High Court, and other members with knowledge or practical experience with respect to human rights. Statement 2. The procedure of removal of the chairman and other members is similar to that of the Election Commission of India. Now this is also an incorrect statement. So this is the method for removal of chairperson and members of NHRC. The chairperson or any member of NHRC can be removed by the president under the following circumstances: if he is an insolvent, if a member is engaged in any paid employment outside the duties of his office, if he is unfit to continue in office due to infirmity of mind or body, if he is of unsound mind, or if the person is convicted and sentenced to imprisonment for any offense. Apart from this, the president can also remove the chairperson or any member on the grounds of proven misbehavior or incapacity. Now this procedure is very different from the procedure for the removal of Election Commission. And the procedure for the removal of Election Commission is similar to that of the removal of President of India. Statement 3. NHRC enjoys the powers of a civil court. Now this is a correct statement. So the correct answer to our practice question is option D, and the correct answer to our UPSC PYQ is option D. So this brings an end to today's session. Stay connected for more updates. Thank you.